Christopher Columbus saw them. Davy Crockett admired their ferocity. Teddy Roosevelt hunted them, calling them the big horse-killing cat. And long before the New World was new, they were held sacred by the Cherokee, the Zuni, and other native peoples.
Down here. 555, Douglas. He's up the tree.
But the king cat, as it was once called, has not had an easy time of it in the modern world.
Cougars kill. They start off with house cats, and they will go to small dogs, easy prey. They're not bad cougars, they're just hungry animals.
As the line between wilderness and urban sprawl grows fuzzier by the day, is there still room enough in our world for the cougar to survive? Most adult cats have been radio collared, making it possible to track their movements from the air. Wildlife biologist Daryl Land is charged with ensuring the Florida panther's survival.
You almost expect them not to make it, just because the odds are so great against them.
Until recently, the most frequently reported cause of mortality for Florida panthers was getting hit by a car. Efforts to lower speed limits and fence highways are helping, but they can't solve the underlying problems of shrinking habitat. Today, the leading cause of death for panthers is fights with other males over territory. But nearly half the Florida cats live on private land, which could be developed in the future.
I think we need panthers out in the wild just because they've always been out in the wild. Just because you're not allowed to hunt them here in Florida and they really have no economic value doesn't mean they're worthless animals. They're part of the ecosystem, and we can't afford to lose any species.
He was known in his time as an American impressionist. But as an artist, he transcended the genre and followed his own path. In the words of one contemporary, he demonstrates fearless use of color, fresh and pure, and by this madness has won his way to eminence. In the early 20th century, Frederick Carl Friesike was one of the most renowned American painters. But his passionate pursuit of truth in his art would lead to a life as an expatriate. His works often unrecognized. Still, Frederick Friesike would know color and light and love in a life possessed of much more than madness. Giverny had been a magnet for American artists since the late 1800s. They were drawn here for the ambience, yes, but also for the inspiring presence of the renowned Impressionist Claude Monet. It was here that he fell in love with the River Seine, and he expressed it in watercolors.
Misty Morning on the Seine is an excellent example of Friesike's very early work after he arrives in Paris. This work tells us something about Friesike's perception of Paris as a young American art student living and working there. And in fact, it was Friesike's original intention to specialize in watercolor paintings.
Many of the decorative choices were Sadie's. It was she who made or bought the costumes, who found the props and parasols. And it was she who gave the paintings their titles. But more important, it was Sadie who created the wondrous gardens that were their inspiration. The light of Giverny provided a new and exciting stimulus for Frederick Frieseke's art. In his own words, it is sunshine, flowers in sunshine, girls in sunshine, the nude in sunshine. If one realizes the effect of sunlight in a room, he said, think of the effect out of doors with a myriad of scintillating lights, their reflections and shadows, each on the other. Frieseke was the first of the Giverny group to embrace Impressionism, and the first to transcend it.
United 232 Heavy, if you can't make the airport, sir, there is an interstate that runs north to south at the east side of the airport. It's a 4-lane interstate.
We're just passing it right now. We're going to try for the airport. You shouldn't be able to fly the airplane. The odds of it happening are 1 billion to 1, and the odds of getting it on the ground are impossible.
It was actually en route to the airport where they started talking about the number of souls on board and that he had lost one engine that I realized that it was a wide-body aircraft.
While our runways are long enough to accommodate aircraft that size, it's very unusual to see an airplane that size in Sioux City.
In the past, we had heard the code 3s, the code 2s, you know, those type of things, and nothing ever came of it. So, of course, you don't think, once again, nothing's going to happen.
United 232 Heavy, winds currently 360, 360 and 11. You're clear to land on any runway.
As we watched him approach the airport, he was wheels down, wings were level. We were going to be home by supper time.
How long is it?
6,600 feet, and the equipment is coming off.
Left.
At the moment I saw the aircraft wing hit the runway, I knew nobody could survive that crash.
Al Haynes is a retired United Airlines pilot, but Al flies more today than ever, going from city to city throughout the country and even overseas, speaking to business and civic groups. His subject? The crash of Flight 232. It's something he's an expert on. Al was a survivor of the crash. He was also the pilot.
Since that time, I have been traveling the country and the world, giving talks on the 5 factors that I think worked: luck, communications, preparation, execution, and cooperation. How they work for us, and how anyone in any business anywhere can use those 5 factors to make whatever they're trying to do work also, to make them reach their goal through teamwork.